Hey y'all, welcome back to another Mommy and Me Monday. If you are new here, I am Brii Renee, straight from the A.
And I'm the original Miss Renee, straight from the A.
And if you're not new here, you know she gonna say that lie every time. She still ain't came up with her own.
But it's my own.
All right, we're gonna dispute that after this. But shout out to everybody that's been listening on Spotify, Apple, all of the streaming platforms. You can listen on Sundays before the visual drop, which drops on YouTube or my channel every single Monday. Shout out to everybody that's tuned in and never missing a Mommy and Me Monday. We love y'all and we rocking with y'all. And today is a very, very special day. It's actually our first ever guest. We have our first guest ever, and I'm excited. Yeah, let's give it a pause. Yeah.
I feel so honored.
Yes, we have none other. If y'all don't know who our guest is, she's an amazing mom, an influencer. She's just been all over YouTube, the gram, Instagram, and even TikTok. I love her and I love following her and her content on all social media platforms. It's always positive, it's always motivating, and it's always like letting me know, okay, when I do become a mom, I could be cute, I could be bad, I could be fly, I could be a great mom and all those things. So one of my favorite mommies to follow. If y'all haven't followed her already, make sure y'all do so. But welcome and give a big Mommy and Me welcome to our guest, Paisli.
Hey, Paisli. Welcome, Paisli.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
So excited to have you, Paisli. But yeah, I've been following you for a while, and you have 3 beautiful children. You just had a boy.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you.
It's giving fiance.
It's giving fiance.
Yeah, she's engaged, getting ready for her wedding. When's the date?
Yes. October 8th.
October 8th.
So it's almost it.
It's almost here. It's right around. And nobody actually knew the date. That was the first time. I was like, should I have said that? It's cool.
It's cool. Okay. It'll be a little bit closer, so you probably be announced it by the time it's dropped. So yeah, so that's exciting. A nice little beautiful fall wedding.
Yes.
I love it. I always say get married in the fall.
That's the perfect time. It's not too hot, not too cold.
Yeah, right. And so you're going to do one of those Sunday night weddings, or it's, oh man, I know that's going to be beautiful.
Everybody's going to
Under
wear
the
all
stars.
black.
Oh my God.
Oh. Are you excited about that? What's been like your apprehension or like your biggest fear when it comes to like getting married now with the kids?
Well, see, that's why you got to do the work beforehand. I don't really have any apprehensions as far as like when we get married with the kids. It's all about because we're a blended family. Well, not necessarily blended. When I met him, I already had 2 kids. So that's not really blended, but just making sure that that dynamic stays happy, consistent. Everybody feels equal to each other. But I really don't have any worries because we've been putting in the work before this. So this is just a celebration of all of our hard work.
Yeah, no, it is. And I will say, I'm not in y'all business. But they go to the same church that I've been going to. So I be seeing them in church and I be like, that's what I told y'all, black men going to church with their wives and fiancés. And they be right there. So I think like that's a testament to doing the work. I think because a lot, especially in our culture, I feel like there's been and even pastors talking about this, like a disconnect in men, especially black men, like wanting to be in church with their family or doing that spiritual work.
Yeah.
You know, but do you feel like he was always like that, or do you feel like somewhere in a relationship y'all established that needed to be?
So both of his parents are pastors.
Oh, okay.
So really he got me going to church more often because I had what they call church hurt. I had experiences in church that made me kind of uncomfortable with actually going to church. And he kind of like broadened my horizon and was like, come on, we're going to do this together. We're going to learn this all over again because, he grew up in the church as well. There's different things that he didn't agree with also. But, we came together and was able to build our own relationship with God together after the pandemic, especially because we studied together during the pandemic. But to be able to physically go to church, feel it, cry together, hold each other's hands when we pray, it's just a different feeling. And I'm just thankful that he brought me even closer. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Beautiful. I think that's like how
that's who you're supposed to be with.
Yeah. When you start saying, come on, babe, you pray. Okay. I'm like,
but it's amazing to hear other people say that they experience some church hurt, And I was always taught and brought up in an era where church was supposed to be that sanctuary,
the safe place,
the safest place. That's where you go for your healing. That's where you go for guidance, and then to be disappointed with church and to be disappointed with people. And a lot of people will say, well, you're not supposed to put your trust in man, but your trust in the word of God. Yeah, but who's
You're
delivering
supposed
that
to-
word? You
right.
know, who's bringing you that word? You know,
Right.
you trust the man that's bringing the word, the shepherd, as they say. And
Cause you'll be like, why would God use that person?
Yeah.
And then
But
they
he
look-
actually does sometimes though too. He actually does. But you have to be able to sift and use your discernment to know that okay, this is the one that I need to be listening to.
yeah,
right.
yeah,
That church hurt is it's hard to get over and get through. But I think that maybe like you said, in a weird way, maybe God is still using that hurt to show you that no matter how hurt the world or this church might have hurt you, you still need me.
Yeah.
That's how much you still need me. You
Yeah.
still got to come back and find, and build that relationship with me. But so I'm working through my church hurt too. Girl.
Yeah.
But that's what I love about our church, because I feel like our pastor acknowledges the traumas or things that people
He touches on it a lot, and that's why he made me realize, like, you got to go to God whether you're upset, when you're happy, when nothing going on, when something going on. God got to always, you got to praise him during any season.
every situation,
Any
amen.
season, you got to praise him because he's just
Amen.
worthy of that. And
Yeah.
every day when I pray, I'm like, God, thank you for what you've done,
What
what you
you're
aren't
doing,
doing, what you
you're
are
gonna
doing,
do.
what you're going to do. That's
All
all
the
I pray
promises you
every
write.
day. I got to
Every
be thankful
promises
for
you
it all.
fulfill
Yeah,
every day.
because it's a reason for everything.
For
so.
sure. So how old were you when you became a mom?
20.
With Kinsley
Yep,
the first one?
20. I've been a mom my whole 20s.
Okay, what was that like, juggling, like growing up and then being a mom now?
Yeah, so I've always been a mini mom, which is crazy. I'm the oldest of 6.
Okay.
And I kind of helped my mom raise the kids and stuff like that. Of course, with the help of my grandmother, but we always had cousins over. And I always kind of make the joke because they're always like, Paisli never played with Barbies or da-da-da. You always tried to tell us what to do. And I've always been that. So for me, it was a natural transition. But on the other side, for me, is what I just realized. I didn't get that time to grow up and make mistakes without worrying about somebody else that's going to be affected by my mistakes. So that transition was a constant learning curve. Like, we grew up together. And I admit some things might have kind of messed her up, but also helped her because she's so mature for her age. She's 9 years old. She's so mature for her age. But that's the thing. I had to grow up with her during that time, with me starting out so young. And then I'm like, well, I wasn't that young. A lot of moms started at 16.
Yeah.
My
mom was a mom at 19.
Yeah.
19.
So, yeah. And look at you. Amazing. Y'all have the most amazing relationship. I admire it. I love watching y'all's videos.
Oh, thank you.
Baby, it was a challenge, okay? Trust me. We had to get to this point, you know?
We did.
Yeah.
But I think that's the importance of like this podcast too, is showing moms and even daughters. Cause like, even though I'm not a mom yet, I just knew like growing up, our relationship was so strained at one point. I didn't know if I was ever gonna like her. So to get to this point,
Likewise.
it's like, I want all of them to know that it's still, as long as y'all are still here, it's still time to like men to grow, to like build that relationship.
And it's normal.
And to give each other grace, you know,
Yes.
because at the end of the day, I don't care how many kids you have, how many times you do it. Every child is going to present different obstacles, different opportunities, and every child's going to be different. And so you just got to learn.
I was gonna say that because she has 2 daughters, and then now her youngest, he's not even 1 yet, is he?
Yeah, he's 1. He'll be 2 in October.
Oh, dang, tell me
Yes,
about
girl.
that. So like,
Tell the weight to catch up.
which parts of yourself do you see? Because I hear people be like, it's different parts of me in each of my children, like good and bad. Which parts of you do you see in them already?
Kinsley, my oldest, I see the worrisome part of me because growing up, I always panicked if there was a tornado or if there was something going on. She worries about things and she tries to think 10 steps ahead to protect herself from different things. Kelsey, my middle, my Taurus baby. She is the life of the party, and that's how I am when I'm comfortable, but she doesn't care who she's around. And she's going to say what's on her mind, and Justice, that stubbornness, he definitely gets it from me, but it's times 10.
Oh, wow.
It's times 10. But yeah, I definitely see my personality in all 3 of them. It's crazy and it's scary sometimes.
Are there any parts of you that you feel like you've tried to shelter, or you like, or pray, like, please don't let them get this. Please don't let nobody get that. I do not want none of my parts.
Yeah, the stubbornness and the attitude, because all 3 of them got the attitude. It's just like, I'm so sorry. We got to get you out of that.
Yeah, I think they all get, and sometimes when I got older, I used to be like, when she would be like, you need to stop doing. I'd be like, well, I get it from you. I knew I had got it from her.
And I hate hearing that too. And I get it from you. Well, damn it, do as I say, not as I do.
Yeah.
You know, that is so hypocritical. But you know, as parents, that's what we want. We want our children
to be
we want the best of for
Yeah.
them, and you want them to do better. Yeah.
When it came to like navigating through your 20s though, because Kinsley's 9, and then how old is your second? 6. So how was that like were you like focused on being a mom in your 20s? You're like, I don't care, I'm not tripping about missing it out. I'm missing out on like fun or parties or whatever. You were like, I know I'm ready to be a mom and I'm full-fledged into this. Or did you ever feel like a push-pull with like trying to balance your youth or being a mom versus, you know?
I definitely struggle with balance. And as I got older, I realized there's no such thing as balance. So yes, I wanted to be outside. I wanted to be with my friends. Like I always say, my friends could get up and do anything. I didn't have that leisure. I had to basically ask permission. And so it was a struggle, that pull and push with wanting to be enjoying my 20s but also still be a mom and know that my kids have their mom and they're not missing me and saying, well, my mom was always gone. So that struggle was really hard with going through my 20s.
Like, how did you navigate through that though? Like, how did you decide when it was time to sit down?
Some things will have to lack. Like I'll be like, okay, y'all, I can't come. Like my baby is sick. Or I just need to spend time with my children. Like outside will forever be there, and it's still there. I'm 30, it's still there.
It's still there.
You know, so it's not going anywhere. So I started to realize that and was like, okay, that's cool. And that's when my brand of me being a mommy kind of shifted, prioritizing me being a mom and working and showing my kids that something is, you know, better. So that's how I, you know, balanced it.
Yeah, and I love that. Like one thing that I admire about you, especially even Jackie, like y'all two are like the ideal content creators, but yet full-time moms with it and incorporating your children with your brand. So like, was that a conscious decision, or did people just start being like, oh, I love when you show me content of your kids? Like, how did you even go about that? Because I feel like when we started on social media, you've been on social media just as long as I have. There weren't like blueprints for it. There wasn't like, oh yeah, you could be a mom creator, you could be this type of influencer. It was like trying to figure out what you wanted to be and what you wanted your brand to be. So how did you land on that?
So for me, it wasn't a conscious decision. It was me just saying, I don't have the time or the energy to keep up a facade that I'm the perfect mom. I'm going to show y'all when I look a mess. I'm going to talk to y'all about when my kids are sick. I'm going to share and be open to you to a certain extent. You know me being a mom and me going through this mom life, but you don't know my personal business.
Right.
So that's kind of how like my brand started going into that direction, because I was just myself, honestly, and talking about the struggles of being a mom and a young mom and trying to balance going to work and having a life outside of my kids and stuff like that.
And you do a good job of that. Like you'll come on at like 10 a.m. hair be looking in the bed, or even one, she'd be like, I just made breakfast. I love it though, because it's like, okay, me too. And I ain't got no kids. Right. So let's get up. Let's get the day going. Yeah. So I love that, like the honesty and the realness, because I think it shows a lot of other women out there that you don't have to be this one idea of what it looks like as a mom, or you can still prioritize getting your hair done, your nails done, or whatever make you feel good, and then like still taking care of the kids. But like when you started with content creating, did you know that it was going to be, because you're a full-time content creator, like did you know that it would be enough to like, because as a mom, that's something you worrying about, like I got to take care of these kids.
Yeah.
And so it's just like, did you ever think in the beginning, or how did you know like how to take care of yourself and the kids with content creation? Because it was still so new.
I didn't know. I was a full-time makeup artist for 7 years, and it took the pandemic to catapult me into full-time content creation. And honestly, it was on a prayer and a wheel. Like you just never knew when companies would take you serious and pay the price that you were asking. So it's really, you know, stepping out on faith with that. So I didn't know at all. And it's still stepping out on faith, because, you know, they can drop you at any moment and go with somebody who they feel like is better. And you just have to move on.
What do you think has made it sustainable for you? Especially because that's 3 years.
Yeah, consistency. And it's stressful because you have to stay up on what they are wanting. people are like, oh, well, I work for myself. I do content creation, but you're still at the will of the brand. If you don't agree with their aesthetic, then they're not going to want you. They're not going to pay you the big 6-figure deals. They're going to pay you at bare minimum because you're all over the place. So then you have to focus like, okay, well, let me see what they like, and stuff like that. But it's hard to maintain it. It's a struggle every day.
What do you feel like consistency looks like for you? Because what I'm learning, this is what I've been telling myself, like consistency can look like, like they're both consistent. So like your consistency can be once a day. You can post once a day, or you could post once a week. Either way, as long as you meeting that deadline, you're being consistent. So like, what does consistency look like for you? Is it I have to post every day, or I have to make sure I'm making like, what is that schedule? Because I feel like all content creators have, even if they don't meet it all the time.
Right. The first thing is that you have to be realistic with yourself, because I wanted to post every day, but I can't. I have to cook. I have kids. I have a man. I got a house to maintain. And I got to focus on my, my mental health. So my consistency, like for YouTube, for instance, is I like to post at least once a week or once every 2 weeks. And then as far as like my Instagram posts, to make sure that I'm still in everybody's faces, I got to post something every day. So I say stories is my comfort space. I can talk to y'all. I can look a mess. I don't feel judged. We can have a conversation. Now I'm interacting with the posts. So it's just within leisure, with my consistency. Yeah, mine is.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, and I think just having grace with yourself and being, like you said, realistic and honest. Like, okay, I do have all these other things that are happening in real life that I got to take care of, and then I can post and share. And then sometimes what I'm learning too, especially with like this past year and grief and everything, is like you can't post everything as you're going through it. Wow. Sometimes you got to wait till you're done and you get through it to share it. You can't share it all. God's still telling you what He's trying to get you the message, and you trying to share it. He ain't done telling you yet. So sometimes just like waiting and allowing yourself to get through certain seasons to share it and post. But I like the being on stories every day too. That's way easier. You can just pull it out, be intimate, be real, and be raw. You need to get to your posting. You got to get on your Zoom.
I thought about getting somebody to post for me.
Girl, you can't start off like that. You got to start off being, the people want to know you.
Okay. Well, I'll start posting. Just posting anything. Huh?
Yeah, like whatever you're doing.
Okay.
Talking to the store, like, hey, y'all, I'm being a boss today.
Oh, Lord.
You got to look at it. People use it as an escape from their lives. So they're like, oh, what is Paisli doing today? I'm stressed out. I need to see Justice throwing food all over the place, make me laugh. Or, if you working.
I never looked at it like that. I was like, I don't really post anything. Maybe I'll get my page up.
She just like to clap back at the haters.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes the things that they say, it's just so.
I'll be like, girl, I'm about to block you. Get off here.
I mean, people don't really stop to think about what they say on Instagram until they say it. And sometimes it pisses me off, and I'm like, did you listen? One of the comments that, was said about Brii and I, well, it's obvious Brii's traumatized. And she, as a kid, I'm like, did you not hear our conversation?
Right.
Yeah.
As a parent, we went through things, and I didn't, when I said I didn't like her at a certain age, oh my God, the comments that were made, how can you be so cruel to say you didn't like your child? You shouldn't.
I've heard worse.
Yeah.
You shouldn't have had children if you didn't like your child. What I was expressing was, I love my child. This is my child God gave me. I chose to have this child. She wasn't a happenstance. She wasn't a mistake. So obviously, there was some degree of love there before she was ever formed, right? But when she started smelling herself, and it wasn't that I was trying to control. One of them said, well, parents dislike you when they can't control you. It wasn't about trying to control her.
I mean, at 12, 13, you should still be trying to.
That's pretty normal, though.
Right, but you're trying to direct your child, give them some guidance. You was traumatized. I'm like, Oh, I went back at a couple of them. And then Sabri's like, well, I'm going to block you, Mom. I said, okay, fine. I'll give it up, but some of the shit people say on Instagram is just downright dumb.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Well, all of those people, like some of them are supporters, which we love. Some of them
oh, yeah,
are fans.
absolutely. Yeah.
Some of them are crazy and deranged.
Yeah.
So you just have to like look at and be able to
And
know
their
the
every
difference.
intention is to affect you.
Yeah.
That's what I realized.
So-
I don't even get them that much anymore.
And I was about
Right.
to ask because a lot of moms, I know, especially like big celebrities, they are often afraid or shy away from showing their children on social media because of how crazy people can be.
Mhm.
Like, did you ever feel like that? Like, oh, I don't want to share my kids with the world.
No, I wait after I have them, of course. I do the whole Beyonce, Kim K thing. Like, you can't see my baby face. But
Right. Until they done baking.
right,
Because
until
at
they
first
done
they be
baking.
looking weird.
I got to be honest.
Right.
The kids be looking crazy. But no, I never did because I want moms to feel like they're not alone.
Mhm.
So that's why I post them on the stories all the time. But I get negative feedback all the time. They'll be like, well,
Really?
you go to get your hair done every 2 weeks. Your kids look a mess. And da 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 da. And you always out where your kids at. No, I'm
Always
I'm
at
also,
home.
Yeah, I'm a Paisley too. I'm not
Yeah.
just a mom. I'm Paisley.
right.
I can enjoy myself.
Right.
But I stopped responding to them
Mhm.
because when you give them energy, all it takes is one screenshot and to overanalyze what you said again and then to get more spectators. And I just don't even want to give it to y'all.
yeah.
Mhm.
I agree.
Mhm.
And that's, I'm going to take that advice from you.
You should.
Wholeheartedly. I am. But going back to something you said, about giving your kids, sharing your kids. I remember as a mom when I given birth to Sabrina, and it was something about you felt this feeling. I don't know if you've ever felt it, but it's like, okay, you've delivered her, and now it's no longer just the two of you.
Mhm.
You've given her to the world, and it's almost one of those things where I can see how a parent could slip into, or a mother could slip into that postpartum depression stage, because it's like you carried this little bundle for 9 months. The two of you have been just one in each other. You've shared the morning sicknesses, you shared the kicking, all these things that you go through in childbearing. And all of a sudden, wow, now you got to share them with the world. And it's like, I wasn't quite ready for that, when she came. And I don't know if anybody else out there ever felt that, but that's a real feeling. It's like, now,
That's
damn.
what postpartum felt like for you.
Yeah, it's like I've got to, and I went through this kind of like, well, Mama would come over and say, well, I'll take the baby. If you said, no, that's okay.
Yeah.
I got her. I don't, it's like I wasn't quite ready to just give it to the world.
Even though it was people like you trusted, you just didn't want to
Right.
share.
Just wasn't ready to share. I mean, and I want parents out there to know that feeling is real.
I think postpartum is different for
Everybody.
every single woman and
Yeah.
every kid.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, maybe because you've actually had 3, you could tell me where it was the postpartum. Did you experience postpartum, and how was it different between each kid?
With my oldest, I didn't really experience postpartum because I was ready to get up and go. I was ready. With my second, it was scary. My mom, and I haven't really talked about this a lot, but my mom would have to come and get the baby. They'll take care of her and then just bring her back so that I could breastfeed her. And then I was going back laying down in a dark room, And with my third one, because, as you get older, you realize more things. After you have a baby, people don't realize how traumatic it is to have a child.
Absolutely.
And so what you kind of described was separation anxiety.
Yep.
Because this person has been a part of you for the last 9 months, shared the same breathing, they know your heartbeat, they know, and then they're detached from you. And then there's people like, let me hold the baby. This
Right,
is a part of me.
right,
I feel
right.
like you just cut off my hand and said, let me shake it and show it
And
to the
pass
world.
it
Yeah,
around.
pass the hand around.
right.
So that's normal, and that's a great thing to feel as a mom. But postpartum can also look very dangerous. With
Oh,
other
yes.
People. People despise looking at their baby.
Oh, yes.
They don't want to smell them. Of course, I didn't experience that, but postpartum is dangerous.
Yeah.
My nephew's mother went through postpartum, and it was to the point where she actually said that she felt like putting the baby in the oven. And that was scary. That was really scary because I don't know. It was just something about her mental state that just took her there.
Mhm.
And
I
we
think
had
it might be
we
like-
had to be with her and really help her through that to the point to where, you know, she got over that. And see, that goes back to what you were saying. We as let me just say, we as people, African American, you know, Hispanics, whites, whatever, we don't realize the trauma in bearing children and what it does to our mental health, you know, and that's something that we need to be aware of.
And like your hormones.
Right.
I don't think
Well, it's a chemical imbalance.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
chemically imbalanced. So it's like, and just as humans, you have good and bad thoughts.
Yeah.
I literally posted that they like every thought in your head is not yours.
Those intrusive thoughts.
It's so it's like sometimes if you can have I've never carried a child and I have had intrusive thoughts.
Mhm.
So it's like you said, my chemicals are pretty much balanced majority of the time of the month. You know what I mean? But other than that, it's like your body has been baking for 9 months, your chemicals your hormones are all over the place. Ain't no telling what you feeling and hearing and thinking.
Absolutely.
And a good representation of that is when you're pregnant, you're going to the doctor all the time. After you have the baby, you don't go to the doctor for 6 weeks.
Yep.
You're in there for 5 minutes.
Yep.
And you're thrown to the world. And then people don't check on you as often
Right.
as they did before.
Right.
I never
So
thought about it like that.
you feel secluded. They're like, okay, well, she's had the baby. She's not important anymore.
Right. And now it's all about the kid.
Now it's all about the kid. But before it was, let me grab your belly. How you feeling? Your feet hurt?
Yeah.
But I just blew my back out pushing this child. My back hurt even worse now.
Not only blowing your back out, but you got ripped from the booty to the
Yes.
tootie, and you know your
Yes.
feet hurt and you can't walk. You know, I remember right after giving birth to Sabrina, you know, this is Miss Robinson. You know, you okay? Blah blah blah. I got her sister in the room and my partner in the room, and we, you know, and the Sabrina was giving the baby, and so everybody's all up in the uproar. They're kissing or whatever. I'm starving.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hungry. I haven't eaten in 14 hours, you know. I went in labor at 7 o'clock that morning. It's almost 12 midnight before they decide that they'll feed me. I'm shaking. I've got the epidural and I'm hungry. Then they take me upstairs. They book me into a room and then they say, okay, well, don't get out of bed. Call us if you need to get up. Well, you know, I managed to doze off a little bit. I go to wake up and just forget about where I am and try to go to the bathroom by myself and fall flat on my face. All of my body is still numb, and I'm going through all this trauma because I just had a big knucklehead.
Yeah.
You know, and then 12 years later, they're asking me why I don't like her.
Because I got all that mouth I'm talking
You know,
about.
all that mouth, you know, and you got to know to ask me why I don't like her. And, you know,
Right.
and from time to time, when she's giving you this mouth back, you're thinking, oh, that shit I just went through for you.
You treat me like this.
You know, and all the trauma I've gone through for you, all the heartache, all the pain, all my hustling, trying to make sure you're fed, trying to make sure I give you this and and then
it
you gonna
worked
talk to
out.
me
Yeah,
like
it
that,
worked
you know.
out.
So
I get it. My daughter did a little something like that made me give me a little glimpse into that world.
oh yeah,
I told her something and she was like, I told her she couldn't go to her friend's house. I said, and if you ask me again, say it. I dare you to say it.
She dared you to say it?
Yes.
oh Lord.
I said, oh girl, you better go upstairs, but I do something else because I was too mad.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was too mad. They'll test you.
oh
yeah.
yes, oh
No, but
yes.
before we move out of it, like I want to know, how did y'all get through those stages or phases of like postpartum, or was there any like tools or people or any like tips or tricks that got y'all through it? Or do you just have to wait it out? Because I did read that now they're saying postpartum is actually
7 years.
7 years. I'm like, that baby in kindergarten in first grade now.
Yeah. So when they said that made a lot of sense for me because I thought I was a crazy person. It's gonna sound like I'm going off subject, but I'm not. But after you have a baby, you are a whole different person. Your perspective on life is different. The way that you think is different. The way that you feel is different. People don't realize that. So going through postpartum is getting to know this new person while also having somebody new that you got to take care of. So that's overwhelming, and that's a lot for a lot of people.
And that goes back to what I was saying earlier about once you become a mother, it's like a different switch pops on in your head. It's like, okay, that used to matter. That doesn't matter anymore. I've got this new person that I'm responsible for. And that's all that matters.
Mhm.
And so it's a totally, you say, well,
But what about when you got 2 other kids? That person is not all that matters.
Mhm.
I mean, they might be,
they just
they
add,
might
it
have
just,
priority
it
because
it just adds
to
to it. It just
Yeah.
adds to it.
Yeah.
It just adds to
Which
it.
is where overstimulation comes into.
I wouldn't I tell you I'd be overstimulated. I don't
Yeah.
got no kids. I'm not.
You're touched out. People constantly touching you every day. I breastfed all 3 of my kids. So it's like I'm feeding this baby constantly all day. And then my fiance wants to touch me. And I'm like, mm-mm.
Yeah.
Or the child or my other kids want to touch me. I'm like, mm-mm, but then you feel terrible because they need you, you know? You're needed.
And she used to say all the time, Mommy, you never want me to just love when you just
You
hold
didn't
on. You
breastfeed
just
me though, so I
No,
don't know
and
what your excuse
but
was.
no, that doesn't necessarily come from breastfeeding all the time. It just breastfeeding only.
Yeah.
That comes from having to always hold you, always nurture. When you was a little baby, 1 and 2 and 6 months, and I'm having to stimulate you. Same thing with your sister. You got to interact. You got to always be there. You got to touch him. You got to love on him. I've got to kiss on you. I got to do all this. And then once you get old enough and you don't need quite that much attention, and then you want to come, it's like, okay, hold on. I'm over it. So those are things you learn.
But how did y'all get out of these phases?
I started writing things down. So when I felt different things, I wrote it down and read it and said, am I tripping? Let me read what I just wrote, to kind of like take a backstand on it. Cause my grandmother ate the last of my ice cream and I just broke down crying. And I mean, boohoo crying. You would think somebody would have died. And I went in the room holding the baby and I was like, why am I crying? I want to stop, but I can't. And it's just, you got to write down your feelings. And that's just regardless of anything on how you could get things through. And talking. Don't hold it in. You got to talk to your people. Tell them how you're feeling. Tell them what you're feeling so they're able to help you in any way that they can.
Now, for me, I didn't talk about my feelings a lot. I unfortunately, I held a lot of stuff in, but you brought back a point when you said you were crying because your grandmama ate up the last spoon of ice cream. I remember going to work and pulling up in front of my job and just boo-hooing, crying for no reason. I mean, and let me say this. I also think.
I think you just hated your job.
Well, no, no. I also think, and they may come back to prove this or say this, but I personally think that postpartum also has a direct connection to menopause. I will, no, hear me out. Some of the same emotions, feelings,
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
and things that you
it's the
go
hormones.
through postpartum, I think are some of those same triggers and emotions you go through in menopause. And
So you feel like you're going through it again?
oh no, hell, I'm over it.
I'm
I'm done. And trust me, believe me, I'm done.
Oh.
But I just think that I can truly say that I've experienced both. And I think that both of those emotions were very similar.
That makes sense because they're both connected to your reproductive system and that those different sets of hormones that are regulated by that. So if they both
make
throw it off.
a sister feel crazy as hell.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you found a way to deal with yours. I just kind of
See, that's that new generation.
Well, no, and that was my 3rd baby. And my fiance helped me do that.
Okay.
I'm not an emotional person at all. So this last baby, I've been crying a lot and it has made me have to hold a mirror up and actually talk about my feelings.
Yeah. Okay.
I was never a person because, like I said, it goes back to me being the oldest and feeling like I have to hold everything together for everybody. I didn't feel like my feelings were valid enough to speak about. I feel like there's worse stuff going on in the world than me getting my feelings hurt by something that somebody said.
Absolutely. And that was always part of my problem too. I really, hey, you've got to work, you got to grind, you got to hold it together, you got to keep it in the middle of the road. So what you feel bad, get over it. So what your feelings are hurt, so get over it. You got something to do. You got a job to do. And I never stopped to think about my mental health or what mattered to me or how I was feeling or what should I do I always felt like hell, if I felt low, I got to do something to make me happy. If I got depressed or I felt down in the dumps, I needed to find something to do that I enjoyed doing. And that what it did for me, and just doing that. And maybe that was my way of, mentally helping myself. It made me realize that I'm capable of being happy by
Or you
myself.
deserve it.
Yeah.
Or I don't need to be in a room of people to feel validated, or I don't need other people to make me happy.
Right.
So I can find things that I like to do by myself and be perfectly fine with it.
Yeah. That's fair.
Yeah.
Well, shout out to your fiance, because it sounds like he helped you, like,
Yes.
and he is even allowing you the space to feel these emotions, but like helping you navigate through them. Because I think, like, as women, it's hard for us to even find partners that will be nurturing or sensitive to us when we going through stuff like that. And I think so many women, I don't know why it's like that, but it seems like on social media that a lot of women and their boyfriends or baby daddies get through or barely make it through the pregnancy sometimes, or barely when the baby is one, and they break up because I'm assuming I be thinking it's because the guy didn't grow up, or he wasn't emotionally mature. Because I noticed, like you said, as soon as a woman becomes a mom, it's like an instant change in her, like before the baby gets here. But I've heard a lot of men say like that switch doesn't happen for them until the baby is here, or sometimes even longer. Like it takes longer for them to realize it's really real, but for to be emotionally like in the trenches, I guess, with you is dope.
Yeah, he's very emotionally intelligent, which has helped me grow in that department, and being vulnerable and open to say, hey, I'm feeling like this today, because I'm still going through postpartum depression, and we had to talk about that 2 weeks ago. And then that article came out, and I was like,
You like, see, I know
I'm a crazy person, because they make it seem like, all right, now time wrapping up.
Yeah,
Maybe
like
next week
there's a timeline for it.
Yeah, it's not.
like, girl, your baby is saying his ABCs. Ain't no wrong with
no, it's no
But
such
it's-
thing as a timeline.
Everybody's is different.
Do you know having a baby is equivalent to breaking almost all the bones in your body? How
crazy.
long would that take to heal?
Right.
You want me to get over this in 6 weeks just because I popped the baby out?
Or just because I gotta go back to work?
Yeah, that's not fair. And mentally, you're just not right. It's a chemical imbalance. So,
And it's so, you know what? And I think the takeaway from this is that every young woman or girl out there that ever gives birth need to understand that it's okay to be in that space. It's okay. It's normal. Nothing's wrong with you if you begin to feel that way. If you wake up in the middle of the night and you're just crying hysterically, those you're going through things, and it's okay to, and it's important to get a support group around you.
And I know it's okay, and I know it's natural, and I know this is completely different, but my dog gave birth to 5 puppies. And it is amazing to me, because just seeing her not know she was even pregnant, to actually giving birth and being like her animal instincts kicked in, the way she delivered the babies herself, started nursing the babies herself, and now she's like about 4 or 5 weeks postpartum, and she's at that phase where she don't really want to be bothered with them. Like, she nurses them, but then she like, all right, like, I need a break from. So it's like, if animals can feel that way, like, we're just bigger animals. You know what I mean? Like, it's natural for you as a woman, like you said, to be like, all right, I need a break from this baby, or I need to get away and tap back into me, or I'm just not feeling it. I need help. I need a mom or somebody else to come in. I think that's why it's important for us to like cultivate these villages, or have like other moms that we look up to, or other women in your family that you can depend on and count on in those times too, because it's like, hey, I feel crazy.
Yeah.
Please tell me I'm not really crazy. Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
No, but like, speaking of your fiance, you like had your 2 daughters before them. Like, how was dating with like being a mom? Because I know it's so many women out there, like I said, that might have already had their first few children or first child, and now are like newly single and are out there dating. Like, what was it like? Or like, did you have any specific rules? What was dating life like for you before meeting him?
Well, the first thing is for y'all to know that you are worthy of being loved after having kids. That's one. But
And don't listen to what nobody say out there. Because they be trying to be like, oh, you got a kid. You got 2 kids.
They'll love you at 5.
Girl.
Okay. It just takes the right man.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I didn't introduce anybody to my kids.
I don't blame you.
Yeah,
that was always a stigma of mine.
It takes a while. And then even when I do it in like a play date. So if you got a niece or another daughter or a friend that you need to borrow, I need to see how you interact with kids.
That's a good one.
And
incognito. Like where the kids don't, it's no pressure on them.
Yeah. And I need to see how my kid act, because kids are very intuitive.
Oh, yes.
They'll let you know. But that's how it was with us, and she just gravitated to him automatically. I used the baby because babies are really remembering that. So I was like, if this don't work, she don't know that.
She's not gonna remember you.
But and just moving slowly, move really, really slow and intentional, and look for the red flags. If something don't seem right, it ain't right.
Yeah,
Don't feel like you could fix nobody and it's gonna work when you introduce the kids. It's not. It's gonna get worse.
Absolutely.
How soon or like around what time frame do you do the incognito play date? Because that sounds like the first step.
Yeah, I feel like it was about 5 months.
Okay, that's still
maybe 4 or 5 months. I feel like it was, because I needed to make sure I was good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, okay, I really do like you.
Yeah.
I really could see this possibly being something and going somewhere. Let's just test the waters a little bit. And I think that's important. Like you said, I think moms, because I feel like put yourself first and then them kids, but that's just me because I ain't got no kids yet. That's my hierarchy. But because I feel like if you not good, it's gonna pour into them kids.
Yeah.
Well,
because I don't know this, and I don't think we even discussed that, but I feel like our relationship was better when you were happier. Like I could tell, and you were stressed and over. Like I didn't understand as a kid that it was because, oh, you're not happy or you're overworked or you're stressed out. But as an adult looking back, I can see, oh, that's why I didn't like you, because you was irritated and stressed out, or you weren't happy in your love life. But once you did get to that place, I feel like it made you a better mom. And I think that moms don't think that your kids feel that, but we can.
A big role in
I think it does. And I think too, as you said, you waited, 4 or 5 months. I think that's a good rule. And that was always something that I would practice and I was determined about. Anybody that I dated or saw, I wouldn't just automatically bring them to my kids. You don't get the privilege of meeting my kids right away. You got to earn that privilege. And then by that time, I got some inkling whether or not you got some staying power. If you don't have any staying power, deuces, you will never get to see them. And I think we as women need to make sure before we start bringing every Tom, Dick, and Harry around our children that he's worthy of it. Because when you do that, you open your children up, especially girls now, unfortunately, little boys now too, to being abused and being mistreated by, somebody. And they don't deserve that. They don't deserve that.
Are there any, speaking of red flags, are there any telltale signs that you feel like, I mean, obviously other than you and this person not vibing, but say you really like a guy, you really vibing, you think it might be something, but the first time you bring them around your child, are there any immediate red flags to look for? To be like, oh, this not the one.
I read body language really, really well. And when you're not looking, I'm looking at you. I'm looking at your eyes, where your eyes moving. How often are you looking at your phone? Are you paying attention? Are you just here because you know it's the right thing to do?
And how you communicating with the children?
Yeah.
That's a telltale sign.
Yeah, because it seems forced.
Yeah, if it's forced and you're not really feeling, I wouldn't
I be
trust
feeling forced around people, kids. I be feeling forced. Like if you leave me alone I be like, so what's up? Little buddy.
But it's an innocent force.
Yeah.
It's
just a feeling.
Yeah, that's that discernment you gotta have to kick in. It's this is a weird force,
And then some things are gonna come natural. You say you feel forced around people, kids, but
I feel like, oh, I don't want to break it while it's in my possession.
No, I mean, be honest. Your guy has a child, and you don't feel forced in that relationship, do you?
But it's kind of different because we've known each other. His son is 14. I've known him since he was 1. So it was even though we weren't always we still
go back to when
You know what I mean?
go back to when the kid was 1 and y'all were together. Think about how you felt then. When that kid came around, when you guys were together, did you feel forced, or did you feel like, you could really have a relationship, or you talked and you played, those things, they came natural to you. You enjoyed spending time with the kid, didn't you?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what we're saying. Even now, now the kid is much older, and now when you're around the kid, it doesn't feel like, you're a stranger or anything. Yeah.
It's natural.
Yeah. Right. So
he be texting me more than he texts his daddy.
Right.
Yeah. So I think like it just works. It'll work if it's the right person.
Yeah.
But I think that's important, like you said, for so many women to know that you can still date, you can still find love, that somebody is. Do not listen to these podcasts and Instagram and all these videos. Yeah, where they be trying to make it seem like you not worthy anymore. Just it's like, well, why wouldn't? And I think if I was a man, I would actually prefer, even though I don't have kids, I would date a woman who had kids because it's like you can see what type of. I date men who have kids because I want to know what I'm getting myself into.
Right. Like if you don't take care of that child, what the hell makes me think you're going to take care of mine?
Yeah.
If you don't have a relationship with your own kid before me, what the hell makes you think you're going to have a relationship with mine?
I really pay attention to that.
If you don't want to go to the basketball games of that kid, or you don't want to be a part of that kid's life, those are red flags.
Yeah. Has even though it sounds like he's an amazing guy, and obviously your daughters and I won't say his son love him, it's his daddy. But like, even though your daughters love him, like, have there been any challenges with blending the family?
Not really, because they gravitated to him pretty quickly when they did finally meet him.
And they're younger still.
Yeah, they were younger. And he is very hands-on with being a dad. Mm-hmm. He does not play about it. And like, if you say anything to where he feel like he's like, no. So you would think that he has been a dad for the last 30 years. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't really a hard transition.
That's good.
Yeah. That's good. That's good. He takes that responsibility seriously. And that makes all the difference in the world. You got a real partner.
Yeah.
It's a difference in having, I'm going to get slapped and killed for this, a sperm donor than a real father in the house, because I know of some relationships where they were just, the sperm donor.
Yeah.
Mama
or they be in the house and still don't be daddy.
That's exactly what I'm saying. You're in the house and mama's got to get them to breakfast. She's got to get them to bed. She's got to take them to school. She's got to comb their hair. She's got to take them to get the haircuts. She's got to do everything. And he's just sitting there like, oh, well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is
there any part of motherhood or like any chore or anything that you have made it like, I don't care what traditions say, I'm not doing that, or I'm not subscribing to that? Cleaning. Ain't no problem with that. Ain't no. I
can't.
We will hire someone.
Yes, and he knows that. He knows that about me.
Yes, I love it.
Yeah,
and we don't have to feel bad about that.
Yeah,
because even shout out to Monique at Revolt, our president at Revolt. She always tells me, all the girls, y'all need to hire a cleaner because your brain power, like why spend 4 hours on this Saturday doing that when you can pay somebody to do it? It can be done, and you done freed up your whole 4 hours time. Like, your mental space can be used elsewhere,
and it'll get cleaned way quicker because they coming in as a team of 4 and they getting it done. So
I guess it's a new age thing. I guess it
Cardi B
is.
said, I don't cook and I don't clean. But let me show you how I got this ring. So you ain't got to do all that. I love it.
All right. So I should take Cardi B.
You didn't cook. You didn't cook.
Sabrina, here we go again.
You did not cook.
There you go again. I do what you mean. You mean name your favorite meal?
You only had 4.
So, but you ate every day though. You ate all 4. The other ones didn't matter.
My grandma cooked on Sunday. We had leftovers to about Tuesday.
No way.
She gonna cook on Wednesday. That's gonna carry you into Friday, and then Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Well, Friday, Saturday we eating out.
No,
so I'm telling you,
and lie don't care who's telling.
The menu was either spaghetti or some fried chicken. You made a good lasagna. You used to make lemon rice. I love that. I ain't had no lemon rice since Buzzo. You and Buzzo used to make that. That's it.
Oh, you just.
Oh, and broccoli cheese casserole.
Sabrina, You better watch that bolt of lightning come. But
I
this,
ain't gotta watch it. Ain't nothing gonna happen.
okay.
The Lord know I'm telling the truth.
No.
Anyways, okay, well, it's time for the record. If y'all have not been here before, you new to the episode. For the record is where we just set the record straight at this time. Anything that's on your chest that you want to get off for the record, you just want it to be known. Clap back at the haters. This is the time to do it. You got any for the records?
For the record, I think that we as parents, both mother and fathers, it's okay to acknowledge that the mental stress of parenting.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay to acknowledge that and not feel isolated, you know. Every parental relationship is not going to be perfect. I want to pay any parents that think that they're failing at that, release yourself for the most part. Don't hold yourself to such high standards because every day presents a new challenge as well as a new opportunity.
Love that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You got a for the record?
Just to piggyback off of, I mean, that was amazing. Just to piggyback off of what you said, I want it to be on the record that you need to give yourself grace.
Mm-hmm.
Grace is needed. Be patient with yourself. And if you do need to cry, know when to pick yourself up. Know when to pick yourself up.
I love that. Well, my for the record is don't feel like you got to do it all. Like she said, she don't clean. She didn't cook. So, pick which chore you want to do and be great at that one. Like, I can wash your clothes so good. They going to ask you who washed your clothes when you go to school. Like Carlos loves the way I wash clothes. They smell like that's my chore. I'm a master that chore and somebody else can do the bathroom. I ain't doing that. I'm not cleaning. I'm with you. I'm going to cook a few times a week and we're going to make it work. So you only one person. And like I said, I know I don't got kids. I feel like put yourself first and let them kids get what's left. Okay? Just like. All right, y'all. It's time for I Want to Know. This is the part of the episode where we ask each other something that we want to know. You can ask us something that you want to know. We'll ask you something. And we have to be like brutally honest. You know what I mean? Like once before I asked her, like, how do you feel knowing you gave birth to a bad bitch?
Oh,
You know
Lord Jesus.
You guys, whatever you want to know, and we got to keep it real. So, dang, I had a good I want to know. It was for you, Paisli. I kind of forgot. Wait, okay, you got something? Let me think about it.
Paisli, do you think that I want to know whether or not you're going to have any more kids or you think you're done? 3's it? Now that you got your boy?
One more.
Dang, you want one more?
One more, yes. One more.
Is that more so you want one more or you think your husband wants one more?
He for sure wants 3 more.
3 more?
Yeah, but
Shit.
we're compromising on the one more. Because I'm tired and I want to live out my 30s and 40s without
caring.
Yes, without carrying
You
kids.
gonna be lit. Paisli gonna be outside with her dad career. Lit.
Yes.
Dang.
Okay.
I don't know. It was a good one. I want to know, do you think, this wasn't it, but I want to know, do you think if you had to choose, go back and choose, knowing what you know now, would you choose, like you said, having the kids early and getting it done and then living 30s and 40s kids free? Or would you do it the opposite, like waiting, living, having your 20s all free and then like raising kids at 30 and 40? Which one do you think?
No, I like that I did it younger.
I feel like I should have did it younger too. I be feeling like that now that I'm 33. I'm tired. I'm tired.
I'm like, I like that I did it younger. Yeah.
And then you can be free when you got money. You can actually enjoy the freedom. Yeah. Dang, that's a good one.
I think having them later in life presents a different experience.
Yeah.
You see, I had your sister at 19, and then you came along at about 29, and that was a different time. So I was able to give you different things,
Like resources.
Yeah, and it makes a difference. So I think that whenever you have them, I think that you'll be okay.
Yeah,
You'll be okay.
that is
Because see, I kind of felt guilty in a sense for having a child at such a young age because there was still so much hustling and grinding that I had to do to get established, to get a good job and to be able to give her a certain lifestyle. And then when you came along, okay, I've done the hustling, I've got my education, I'm at a better place now. I'm at a different income level, so I can offer you a little bit more. We can live in a different zip code, so it's okay. It's okay to wait, each, but yet and still having her at a young age made me realize that I really had to get that grind in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really had
put
to
a fire
work.
up under
It
you.
put a
Yeah.
fire
And
up
see, I
under
think
me.
I feel like I would be, even though I'm like grateful for where I am right now on my journey, don't get me wrong, but I do feel like sometimes I do feel like if I had a kid, I would be further along because I be feeling like I'm just doing this for me. But like if you have a kid, it's like, no, I have to, like, I can make excuses for myself, I feel like. But I feel like I would be more consistent, more disciplined, more successful if I had somebody depending on me. But because I know, like you said, like I might not eat but once today. Like,
Yeah, my friend said that before. She was like, I could survive on a cup of noodles.
Yeah.
If you can't, your kids can't. So
Right.
you have to. She was like, I admire that about you. She was like, because you have to work 10 times harder because it's not just you.
And that naturally bring out a different side of you that I don't feel like you can do on your own without.
Yeah.
Okay, so solve that problem. Go have a kid and be done with it.
Yeah, I told you, it be in and out. I be in and out with it. I be feeling like I want it and I don't. Like, But
No.
that
That guilt is so real because I feel like my last especially has a way different life than what my first did. Because I had to grind. I wasn't there. I had to work so hard. So that's so true.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
But give
Yep.
yourself grace.
Yeah.
Anything you want to know?
I want to know what was the change for you guys to know that it was time for y'all to work on your relationship as mother and daughter.
Oh.
Well, for me, it was when I realized as a parent, I gotta let her go in a sense. I gotta acknowledge the fact that she's got all. I've raised her. I've instilled those principles. Now I've got to allow her to apply them to life, and I have to respect those decisions. So
What age was that?
I think probably about mid-20s when I saw her starting to change. She wasn't so much of this little bratty little, child. Yeah, I wanted
What words you was about to use?
that I'd raised, and she had her head on straight, and she was beginning to realize to take life serious. Because I should tell her all the time, you act like shit just doesn't matter. When you gonna start thinking and realizing that there's a world out here that you gotta adjust to and adapt. So when I start to see more of that maturity level in her, then I realize, okay, she's not necessarily my baby anymore. She's a young woman that we've got to kind of shift our relationship a bit. I'm still mama. I'm still the big friend. I'm not going to be
I'm
that.
not one of your little friends.
I'm not
She
one
the
of your
big
little
friend.
friend now. I'm the big friend now.
Right.
So we gonna handle things on a different level. And so I too had to be willing to make some changes and understand that, it ain't always, my way or the highway. I've got to, sit back a little bit and respect
Well,
it.
you
And so-
wasn't paying no bills then, so it could
Well,
be
see-
your way
see-
or the highway.
see,
It
well,
was my
see-
way in my house.
Well, see, then I guess the answer to that is when she became financially independent, and I didn't have to foot the bill anymore, and therefore I wasn't responsible anymore. We were able to then,
Well, I think it's twofold because it actually was the same time. I would say my mid-20s, like 26, 27-ish. Once I had hit my head enough and was like, dang, was right.
Yeah,
Or she was trying to tell me that. Or I'm so glad that she did teach me this because my friends are saying they didn't get that or they didn't, or I see how they didn't get it and how it affected them.
Right.
So I think like once I got older and especially like working in the club and, you trying to steer me away from that was like, and just the things that I learned once I was in there, I was like, this is why she didn't want me in here. These are the things that I'm faced with, or these are the things that people didn't have that I had, the privileges, the lessons, and all those things. So once you start learning, like, dang, my mama was kind of right a little bit.
Right.
Well, let me go see what else she write about, mama. I be calling them for everything now. Mom, like, who said I feel like what? You said I'm a dependent? Oh, okay. Like I call her for everything now because it's like, dang, I know that you love me unconditionally. You want the best for me. And like you said, once I started making my own mistakes and realized like no matter what, you still gonna be my mama, you still gonna be in my corner. I think that's what made me be like, all right, let me now work on liking you as a person.
Yeah.
Or learning you as a person. Because I think as kids, you don't learn your parents as their own individual, who they are as human beings outside of being your mama. I had to really realize like you are entitled to your own identity outside of being my mama.
Yeah.
And you know, it became amazing because her friends would be calling me as if I'm their friend.
Yeah, they be on the phone with her like, where my homegirl? And I'd be like, dang, y'all really like that lady like that. Like, she all right. But I've been trying to get rid of her for 30 years.
You know, and so that, you know, that means a lot to me, you know, that they see value in what I'm trying or try to teach and show them, not just, you know, just basic life skills, things that I hope to, you know, that they can carry with them and maybe teach their children, to, you know, teach their daughters so that, you know, they can grow up to be beautiful, successful, productive women, you know, and not settle for so much bullshit.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, I did remember my I want to know for you. So with everything that you got going on, you know, just content creating, YouTube and vlogging, being a mom of 3, like what is your formula for Paisli? Like when the world is going crazy and you got to pick yourself up, pull yourself out of those spaces, whether it's postpartum or just being overwhelmed with life and responsibilities. Like what's your formula, your go-to for feeling back like Paisli? What you need? Because every person needs something different.
Yeah. Yeah. I got a real answer and a real answer. So my real answer is I like when I unplug fully from my phone, the internet, all of that, and I'm just on the couch with my family and we're watching TV. That's a great reset for me. Now, on the other side, I would like to just ride around and go to Target. I decompress so much in Target. I don't know what them people are spraying in the air. It is something in the air because you go on for toothpaste and I done spent $600. But I love Target. I don't know what it is that helps me reset with that.
Thank you so much, Paisli, for saying that. Thank you so, because at one point people used to think I was crazy because they would say, you know, there were times at night where I couldn't sleep and Home Depot used to be open 24 hours.
So yours was Home Depot?
Yes. I mean, even now, it's like I get a rush. I just want to go to Home Depot. I mean, I can forget the hell with the world. It's like, let me just go to Home Depot. I can walk down every aisle. You know, that measuring tape looked like the same one it did 2 weeks ago, but it's just something about going down that aisle. And I just want to see what are the new exciting things at Home Depot. Oh, you know, they have these little things and these DIY, you know, do it yourself things. And I go and I look and I'm amazed. So thank you for saying that. Now I know that I'm not crazy. And I know people when they say, you like to go to Home Depot.
Yeah.
I was like, I love Home Depot.
Yours is Target.
Yeah.
Yours
is Home Depot.
Mine
is a dollar store.
I just was gonna say
I
that.
love Saks. No, you do. She know me. I really do love the Dollar Tree though. I love the Dollar Tree. That's my low end. But in the perfect world, I would love to go to Saks and stroll and see what's new. What you said? What's new? What's exciting in Saks? Those shoes, that bag.
Yeah,
those shoes.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have to have the shoes and bag. I could, you know, when Home Depot used to be open 24/7, I would get up.
That's really insane.
When I could not sleep, I swear to God, I could not sleep at night. I would get up in the middle of the night and just drive to Home Depot and just walk Home Depot for hours. Wow. Like now, even on a Saturday morning, I don't have shit to buy in Home Depot. I don't need anything. On a Saturday morning, one of the joys is I just get up and I go to Home Depot.
I see the joy in your face right now.
Yeah, I mean,
it's like,
you know,
real
it's
dopamine.
It's like I get a high from it.
I get that spraying dopamine in these
I don't know what it is they do. But it's
That was
something,
mystery
for me, it's something about, and I go in there, I don't need a damn thing, but I done spent a couple $1,000 coming out of there, and I've got all this stuff. You go home and just put it in the garage.
Well, y'all know what
And I
gift
get
cards to
all,
get her.
I get all these little tools, these little trinkets. I've got a tool shed that's probably about a tool cabinet that's probably about 7 feet tall. And I got all kind of shit in there that I don't need. But guess what? One day I might. And if I do, I'm ready. I'm prepared. I got all these things in my garage cabinets and drawers and stuff. I don't. But one day I might. And Home Depot got, and it's amazing.
Well, if y'all want to send her anything, send her some Home Depot gift cards.
I love them. I love them.
Her birthday coming up. She is sad.
Okay, but I love Home Depot.
Yeah, she do. Well,
I believe it or not, kids, people just say,
Girl.
well, what do you get her for Christmas?
Home Depot gift card.
Yeah.
Y'all see, she'll be
I got you.
ecstatic.
Girl.
Right. Anyways, Paisli, thank you so much for joining us on this episode of Mommy and Me. Tell everybody where they can find you, what you got coming up next, anything you working on.
Yes, thank you so much, you guys, for having me. I feel so honored. I was telling Brii, this is my first ever podcast. So,
Actually, y'all first guest.
Yeah.
First.
so
inaugural.
right now we're really focusing on the wedding coming up. You guys can follow me on everything, YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. It's at Paisli B. And yeah, pretty simple, straight to the point.
Yes. Oh, and you have Mommies and Motivation.
Yes, Mommies with Motivation.
Mommies with Motivation.
So y'all can follow that page as well. It's a mommy community so that we're able to talk and vent to each other. I'm on there all day talking to mommies. I don't post as much because my mommy ADHD doesn't allow me to focus on that page all the time. But I do like to talk to moms and let them know that it's okay to have somebody other than family to talk to just vent to. So Mommies with Motivation,
wonderful.
yes.
Super dope. Well, congratulations on everything. Congratulations on the wedding. We rooting for y'all. We love Black love. Yeah. And thank y'all. Make sure y'all follow her on everything. Stay tuned. All my mommies, check in with her and make sure you keep it live. Thank y'all for tuning in to another episode of Mommy and Me with our girl Paisli. I am Brii Renee.
And I am the original Miss Renee, straight from the A.
Don't forget to subscribe, y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in to this week's episode.